Good afternoon. Very interesting topic, extremely relevant. This reminds me of a story about a young man who decided to learn music. And he went to a guru, a teacher of music. And he met him and asked him, Guruji, I want to learn music. How much time you think it will take? The Guruji replied, it will take about 6 years for you to learn music. The young man was, he was kind of frustrated and excited. He said, 6 years, Guruji, that's too long. I know a bit of music. So I think for me it should take less time than your normal students who start from the beginning. The teacher asked, tell me what you know about music. The young man explained, shared with the teacher what he knows about music. Then very eagerly and keenly asked, Guruji, now tell me how much time it's going to take, now that I have told you everything. The teacher said it's going to take 12 years for you to learn music. He said, what the hell you are saying? Are you a real teacher or a fake teacher? What the hell you are saying? And why are you saying so? The teacher said, look, what you have learned is wrong. So it will take 6 years for you to unlearn what you have learned, and it will take another 6 years to learn music. So that's the state of affairs with organizations today, with leadership development. So first of all, organizations need to unlearn, then start learning. So that's the challenge that we're grappling with today. And Sabyasachi was talking about, he was giving very interesting example. There was this study which says between 1937 and 2011, they studied 500 top organizations, and how many of them survived 60 years? Only 7 of them. 7 out of 500. So what happened to the remaining 493 organizations? Extremely interesting insights. So today when you're talking about building sustainable leadership strategy, building is about building a culture. And when you're talking about leadership strategy for future organization development, future is about sustainability, so that organizations can take it forward for their future developments. So about a year or so ago, Infosys called back Narayan Murthy. And you know why? Because they felt that they need his leadership once again. So Infosys had great processes, but the people development was a disaster over the years. So they wanted to bring him back so that he can set things right. When we look at organizations, we have managers, we have leaders. Managers manage processes, they manage systems, they manage people, but leaders inspire. Managers are mechanical, leaders are inspirational. So that's the difference between manager and leader. So that's what organizations need to start inculcating. So what are the elements of this strategy when you're talking about building a sustainable leadership strategy? I think it starts right at the time of hiring. How do you hire the right people? It's about developing. It's about performance management. It's about succession planning. So across this employee life cycle, organizations need to have the right strategies, do the right thing to make sure that they build sustainable leadership in the organization. In the US, I have heard that they do not advertise a lot for positions. Selection takes place over a cup of coffee, over a discussion and so on. They do not really advertise a lot. But here in India, we do a lot of advertisement, and then we look at the qualification, we look at the certifications and so on. But do we really look at the skills that a leader should have? It's about the emotional quotient, it's about the ability to inspire people, and so on. The organizations have stopped looking at them. It has become all about metrics. It has become all about Lean Six Sigma, finances, everything. It's not about inspiring people more. When it comes to developing leadership, I don't think it starts in organizations. It starts in our respective homes. We as parents build leaders for the future. Unless we do that, we cannot expect leaders to evolve and emerge in organizations when they're in their late 20s or early 30s and so on. That cannot happen. So we as parents need to take the ownership of building sustainable leadership at home. How much of challenge you are giving to your child? how much of, Faye was talking about action learning, how much of action learning you are giving your child at home. We just force them to study books. We ask them to score good marks, but do we really we prepare them for future? Do we really prepare them to face the world as they grow up? So, it's a big no-no when we say, can you also send your child for a part-time job when he is going to college? For parents, maybe in India, especially in India, is big no-no. I mean, how can my child concentrate on both? But we cannot really prepare leaders like that. So we really have to give them the situation. In organizations, I know I'm running out of time. I just have 5 minutes. So coming to, in the colleges, our education system, it's again is about a few intelligence. It's about arithmetic, it's about logic, it's about linguistic, it's not about the skills that we need on the job, how to interact with people, how to relate to people, how to inspire people, how to deal with people, and so on. So that's the challenge. So it starts at home, it continues in our education system, in our colleges and universities, and then we carry it forward in the organizations. That's where I think our development process has to look at the motivation dynamics today. Today, we focus a lot on the areas of improvement. In our organization, we have started focusing on areas of strength. We believe training is to develop strength, and counseling and coaching is to really work on areas of opportunities or weakness. So that's the kind of strategy that we have adopted in Hewlett-Packard as an organization. It's really working well, but I think it's a long way to go. Again, and similarly in succession planning, we have to do the same thing. Like in the US, when the contest for the election takes place, the people not only look at the capability, the track record, they also look at what relationship Obama has with his wife, with his children, and so on. Those relationships are also important. When you're looking at succession planning, we're looking at future leaders, it's also important to look at those aspects as part of a succession planning strategy as well. So I think, in conclusion, I think we'll probably carry on the discussion. I think it's extremely important. The world is changing, and then we have been talking about the change all around us. So time has come that organizations also start re-looking at the way they develop leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Surya. Thank you. And now we'll hear Gandharvi.
And I have to use mic.
And Gandharvi is going to use a mic.
Okay, so I think a lot has been said, and it's considered good to go in the end because you tend to remember what the first person said and what the last person said. I think a lot of points have been made which are very valid. I have a couple of thoughts. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But this is my opinion and something that we are trying in our organization as well. Yes, organizations need to have their strategies in place. Otherwise, building leaders is of no use. Because if your strategy is not linked to your leadership and your leadership development plans are not linked to your strategy, either which ways, either the organization will fall or the leaders will fall. If we look at the last 10 years, I mean, we've got a lot of data about 500 companies. Let's go just a decade. Last 10 years, organizations which were on the top, today probably most of them are not. And that is because either the organizational strategy failed or the people were not equipped to be able to deal with the change that took place. I'm not going to share a framework. I'm not going to share a model which is complicated. I personally believe in keeping things very simple because it's easier to explain and easier to understand. The model that I propose or I like to work with is the 70-20-10 model. It's very simple. Companies, as Faye said, spend billions of dollars on leadership development. We work with external consultants, we partner with them, and we spend so much money. In a lot of cases they fail, or in a lot of cases they do well, we don't know. The 70-20 model works for us and our organization because 70% of that model we use our people and use them and develop them with daily work. We give them a lot of on-the-job training and development to be able to also manage the operational work and also be able to challenge themselves and give them new work and take up better projects. The 20% that we use is through coaching and mentoring. And the remaining 10%, while I'm in a learning and development function, 10% is actually learning and development for us. The model works best because people are not taken out of work. Work doesn't take a challenge, take a hit. And when it comes to career development, it becomes easier for them to be able to focus on where they want to go. Another thought that I had was, and something that I researched on, was what the Corporate Leadership Council calls talent champions. TV Rao's book calls it talent masters. In my organization, we call them career managers. We've identified a process with which we have people who can select their mentors really from a career perspective and be able to speak to them at any given point of time globally. And they could choose their mentors globally. And these people are actually the champions of talent. They can help these people grow and help them build their leadership skills. So for us, leadership strategies is really not about getting to a training room, learn the basics of giving and receiving feedback, learn about situational leadership, the basic fundas, as we call them, of leadership. We don't do any of that. We make it more real-time, more practical, and that's why the 70-20-10 model really works for us. I think there was a point that Owen had made, which I liked, and it has to do with our internal talent. While yes, we must recruit talent from outside, the best leadership strategy that has worked for my organization has been growing our people from within. We have a rigorous graduate program that we run, and these people have turned out to be the most successful for us in our organization because in the last 5 years, they've probably grown faster than a lateral hire has. And that's not because a graduate or a lateral hire has, there is a difference in the experience. It's just that the exposure that we are able to give a graduate, given that they're completely blank slates, allows us and them to be able to grow as leaders even better. People externally who come, obviously, they grow in the organization, but for us, internal talent has worked out best. I think in conclusion, really it is, yes, we should keep all of this in mind and the floor will be open for questions, but the talent is really in our organizations. We just need to identify it and start working with them and helping them grow to be able to deal with the challenges that are going to come in the next few years as far as organizations and companies are concerned.
Great. Can we have a big round of applause for Batari? On two accounts. One, for sharing some very interesting insights. And secondly, can we have another round of applause for Gandhari for using a mic? And I definitely want to congratulate you for that.